the concept about the human resource development will be forget for the companies. What is your opinion about this?
Yeah, that's the main concern. And just in time or lean, whatever you call it, the reason why I moved from Japan to US is to address so that the people's talent potential can be better utilized. And in the US, there's a top down, and there's a gap between the top and the shop floor people. And people are not asked any suggestions. That's one of the line I read in one of the book called In Search of Excellence. And that made me to decide to move to the US to apply the idea, but the lean or just in time or, Toyota production system is based on utilizing the talent of people. And that's the worst waste, from the point of view of humanity, but from the point of view of management, and there has to be money oriented. So they may not look at the human resource as the major asset. And they try to cut, and use the lean as a way to just do that. So that would lead people to be more alienated. And that's what I see the big gap from the way, of course, in Japan, the country is more harmonized and they take care of things. So part of that may be introduced in the US or my writing the book, like housekeeping, the basic stuff to expose the waste. And there are lots of waste out there. So that's the reason why the top management need to pay more attention to it instead of using people as a tool. But as you said about the AI, and that's one of the main concerns I have, and I have had the GPT conversation for a long time. I've been going through certain issue for a month and a half, and AI has a problem, and maybe we can touch on that. But AI is also a tool, an extension of the brain. But what I say often is that the heart should be, as a human, heart should be there as a human. So if you lose that, and the money and the top down, and not respecting the people's potential and taken care by the robot or software, even if that happens, and that will be the trend, so that all the management may be very much occupied in that direction, not to be behind the race or something like that. But that's where the important judgment has to be made. Do we use, or the top management use people as a tool, or do we see them as a potential contributor for the progress? And my view is that if you just do the top down without considering the people, there will be lots of sad situations to happen. And I'm sure many companies will do that, but certain company may have more compassionate element. Also, if they are wise enough, this compassion can lead people to participate more actively. What is the waste? What can be done? So it's a difficult situation, and because of the accelerating rate of the AI progression, we need to not blindly believe in any theory, but be pragmatic to figure out, okay, this is what we see, this is what it is. Like a plan, do, check, act, checking what's going on, what is the waste, what's the potential, and what's the likelihood of the technology changing. And we have to kind of massage and maneuver the path to put together so that even if you talk about the lean or whatever the name you put it doesn't matter. Waste elimination and appreciation of the human potential. It's a it's not a simple equation that you can put and then things to work. So it's a difficult time. But only way I know is to be, I use that idea of the glass wall management instead of brick
Okay.
wall management. So like a top management has a brick and they speak certain language, and the middle management speaks certain language in a different language, and that is the barrier created, and the information get lost, and therefore that structure should be addressed in the process of the change. If you don't, lots of pain and suffering can happen. And even if you do, certain pain and suffering may happen, but people may realize that certain approach that the company can take may also help them to manage their own life. Because in my view, managing a company and managing individual life is similar. You know, in individual life, we have the waste and the lack of vision and top down and not to be appreciating the unknown potential within us. So the company has the same idea as much as individual has the same idea. So if this is the philosophical understanding, but I think it's realistic, if we understand and openly talk about it and be able to see, okay, this is what we think and this is the way and this is going to happen. And each element of the company, I call the mini company idea. So this is related to my second book, which is also about empowering people. So it's not just technique of what to do with the lean, but empowerment of how to engage people in the process has to be done. That's the way I see it. But my talk is maybe based upon my experience, and I had the great pleasure of meeting people. In fact, I can tell you the first company I worked with in Los Angeles with lots of Mexican people, and we had a real good time and enjoyed it. So even if it's difficult, each of us to have some vision and the way into the future. And I think we shouldn't lose that. And if you use the lean or Toyota production system, whatever you call it, as a technique, it's just a part of the brain that you're working on, but the heart may be left behind to want to do something and be able to do something and see the result of it and appreciate that, even if there's a limitation of it, because it may help the individual's growth. And if that growth is retained, even the company may be into difficult situation, the robot and those things can happen. But still the idea of the lean or the waste elimination, appreciation of the human potential can be carried on to the next job or next work. So if we can align and develop such philosophy or idea or approach and to share it, I think that's the critical situation.